Have you ever imagined a world where farming doesn't destroy the soil, doesn't poison the rivers, and doesn't leave farmers trapped in endless debt? What if I told you there are farmers today who are rewriting history, proving that you can grow food, feed your family, and even build wealth without a single drop of chemical fertilizer or pesticide? This is not just a dream. These are the real success stories of natural farming, stories that started in small villages and went on to inspire the entire world. Natural farming isn't new. In fact, it is as old as humanity itself. Before chemical fertilizers, before modern pesticides, people relied on the soil's natural life. They trusted earthworms, fungi, and microorganisms to do the work. But in the 20th century, industrial farming took over. Farmers were convinced they needed expensive chemicals to grow food. Costs went up. Debts rose. Soil died. And millions of small farmers struggled just to survive. Then came a few brave voices, farmers who decided to trust nature again. What happened next became legends. In the dry fields of Maharashtra, India, one farmer was tired of debt. His name was Subhash Palikar. Year after year, he watched his income vanish into buying fertilizers and pesticides. The land became weaker. Crops failed. Many farmers in his area gave up. But Palikar refused. He asked himself, if nature has sustained forests for thousands of years without fertilizers, why can't it do the same for my farm? He experimented. Instead of buying chemicals, he used cow dung and cow urine from local cows, mixing them with natural ingredients to create powerful fertilizers and pest repellents. Soon, his fields came alive again. Yields went up. Costs dropped to almost zero. Other farmers mocked him at first, but when they saw his success, they copied him. This became known as zero-budget natural farming, ZBNF. Today, hundreds of thousands of farmers in India have adopted his methods. Some call him a hero who saved small farmers from the trap of modern agriculture. Meanwhile, in Japan, another farmer was starting a quiet revolution. Masanobu Fukuoka wasn't just a farmer, he was a philosopher. He believed farming should be done with no tillage, no fertilizer, no pesticides, and no weeding. At first, people thought he was crazy. How can you grow rice and wheat without even plowing the soil? But Fukuoka proved them wrong. He developed a unique method, seed balls, tiny balls of clay mixed with seeds. He simply scattered them across the land, and nature took care of the rest. Year after year, his rice and wheat fields produced abundant harvests. No machines. No chemicals. Just nature's own rhythm. His book, The One Straw Revolution, became a global inspiration. To this day, farmers across the world read his work to learn how to trust the soil again. In South Korea, a farmer named Cho Han-kyu faced the same challenges as millions of others: expensive fertilizers, weak soil, and declining profits. But instead of giving up, he turned to the wisdom of microbes. He developed what is now called Korean natural farming, KNF. His idea was simple yet revolutionary: use indigenous microorganisms, IMO, the tiny creatures already living in the local soil, to strengthen crops and regenerate the land. He trained farmers to collect these microorganisms from forests, multiply them at home, and return them to their fields. The results were astonishing. Crops grew healthier, soil became richer, and farmers saved thousands of dollars each season. Today, KNF is practiced not only in Asia but across Africa and Latin America. For many small farmers, it's the key to survival in a world dominated by industrial agriculture. Thousands of kilometers away, in rural Kenya, a group of women were struggling to feed their families. The cost of chemical fertilizers was too high, and their maize crops were failing. Together, they decided to try natural farming. They made compost at home using kitchen scraps, animal manure, and crop residues. Slowly, their soil improved. The maize fields turned green again, and their harvest doubled. What started as a survival strategy soon became an opportunity. These women began selling surplus vegetables in local markets. For the first time, they had not only food security but also extra income. Their story shows how natural farming is not just about food, it's about empowerment, independence, and dignity. In the Philippines, one farmer made the bold decision to abandon chemical farming altogether. For years, he had been buying fertilizers and pesticides, drowning in debt, and watching his soil turn lifeless. Switching to natural farming was not easy. The first year, his yields dropped. People laughed at him. But he didn't give up. he created his own organic fertilizers, used mulching, and planted diverse crops instead of monocultures. By the second year, his soil began to recover. By the third year, his yields were higher than before, and his costs were nearly zero. He went on to earn an organic certification, which allowed him to sell his products at premium prices in local and international markets. His success inspired neighboring farmers to follow the same path. Today, his small farm is a model of resilience and profitability. When we look at these stories, from India to Japan, Korea to Africa, and the Philippines, one thing becomes clear: natural farming is not about copying a single method. It's about trusting the wisdom of nature and adapting it to local conditions. These farmers showed us that success doesn't come from pouring chemicals into the soil. It comes from working with the land, respecting its rhythms, and letting life flourish. Seedling emoji, the key success factors. When we look closely at these stories, we see some common patterns, key factors that made natural farming succeed across cultures and continents. Low costs, high returns. Farmers who switched to natural farming drastically reduced their expenses. Without buying fertilizers and pesticides, their financial burden shrank. Profit wasn't about producing more, but about spending less. Soil regeneration. Natural farming brought life back to the soil. Earthworms returned. Microbes multiplied. The land itself healed. This gave farmers stronger crops year after year instead of weaker ones. Community sharing. These methods spread because farmers taught each other. Knowledge was shared, not sold. From India's ZBNF to Korea's KNF, the movement grew through community, not corporations. Consumer demand. More and more people want healthy, chemical-free food. Natural farmers not only fed their families but also tapped into premium markets, selling their produce at higher prices. Natural farming is no longer a fringe idea, it is a movement. Governments, NGOs, and communities are noticing the results. India, states like Andhra Pradesh have officially supported zero-budget natural farming, planning to scale it to millions of farmers. Africa, NGOs promote natural farming as a climate-resilient solution in drought-hit areas. Europe and the US, urban natural farms and community gardens are spreading, proving that even cities can benefit from soil-based sustainability. These stories highlight that natural farming is more than an agricultural technique. It is a solution to climate change, food insecurity, and farmer poverty. As the world faces rising fertilizer prices, soil degradation, and climate uncertainty, natural farming offers hope. It reduces dependence on costly imports. It restores ecosystems rather than destroying them. It creates independence for farmers, freeing them from the cycle of debt. It answers the growing demand for organic, healthy, and sustainable food. If today a farmer in India, a group of women in Kenya, or a small grower in the Philippines can achieve success through natural farming, then tomorrow, millions more can follow. These are not just farming stories. They are stories of courage, resilience, and trust in nature. They remind us that agriculture doesn't have to come at the cost of the earth, or the dignity of the farmer. The next time you eat a meal, remember, somewhere, a farmer is proving that natural farming works. And maybe, just maybe, it's the path forward for all of us. Right pointing finger emoji. If you found these stories inspiring, don't forget to subscribe for more powerful journeys into nature, health, and the future of farming. Seedling emoji, sparkles.